Thank you for coming again and attending our NST chat, which is a regular feature in NST Online's operations. Today we are at the UMNO General Assembly, the 67th version of what is the country's biggest and most relevant political party for the last 70 years or so. And with me are three very young members, people who will probably take over the reins of the party in the next maybe decade or so. On my left is Dr. Muhammad Nawar Arifin. He is a committee member with the Pokok Sena UMNO division. He's 38 years old, 16 years with UMNO, and is an orthopedic surgeon with Tropicana Medical Center. On my right, Natasha Roslan, 26 years old, only 2 years old within UMNO, and an exco with Putri, and a lawyer at Razif Abdulaziz and Partners. And besides her is Fikri Firdaus, 25. He's with Rembau UMNO Youth, just an ordinary member, but I'm sure he'll climb the positions there very soon. These are three ambitious members and very committed to the UMNO's cause. Let me ask the oldest of the three of you, Dr. Mawar. The Prime Minister had shown a smartphone to the crowd 2 days ago to reinforce the idea that the next general election will be fought on the digital front within the handphone and not in print and not on TV. What do you think of that proclamation?
I think Prime Minister Datuk Seri Mohamed Najib has given a very strong signals. It's not just through the phone, but it just simply means that the focus on the party move and transformation program must be directed to a certain enlarge towards the young generation. And you all can see that I think on the next coming years, more than 50% of the voters will be the young group voters. And generally, there will be more IT gadget-based with Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, But at the same time, we also know that in the rural population, there are not many youngsters that are actually keeping in touch with the IT. The progress must be balanced, not just to tackle the urban voters, young voters, who are very IT. At the same time, we also have to do some steps to make sure that the younger voters in the rural or suburban area to also have opportunity and being touched.
Okay, thank you for that. Natasha, you as one of the youngest members in UMNO, I understand that Putri has launched this Friends of Putri Bureau,
yes.
Sahabat Putri. So how would you use the digital savviness to attract the younger, more savvy members and woo them to see UMNO's way of doing things?
Actually, youngsters nowadays, they love feeling that they are being heard. So through Twitter, when they ask a question and we can answer them promptly, they feel like their presence are there, that they actually listen to them when their ideas are being heard lah. So we basically programs as well.
Fikri, the opposition's use of digital landscape has been said as the most potent of all their campaign style. Now, how do you intend for UMNO to utilize anything digital to fight the so-called Red Bin Army?
So basically, since 2008 up until now, we have come a long way to the social media. So I believe that UMNO, the current generation, we have to fully utilize social media. I mean, not only in terms of disseminating the information, but also the input of the message that we want to send to the voters is very vital, because it somehow, because they are very intellectual and very demanding nowadays. Their expectation is very greater. So basically, they expect something which is intellectual and input to give to them. So I believe that the opposition might have an upper hand, because the usage of the labeling, the usage of the jargons, all the languages which is attracted voters, which we know that it can be untrue or true. So the thing is, UMNO has to come forward when it comes to this. We have to fully utilize by giving an information and input that create and ignites people, especially the younger generations, interest towards UMNO. So in that case, if we manage to succeed this one task, we will have an upper hand compared to the opposition.
Thank you. Now, one of the things that was used against UMNO during the general election, I think all three of you would have campaigned hard on and before May 5th. Now, the relevance of UMNO was proven again when they took in, if I'm not mistaken, 89 parliamentary seats, and is still in full control of the Malay electorate. Wow. Now, having said that, do you think that this level of Malay support has petered out, has saturated, or you think that if you don't do anything well enough, it might go down?
Oh, definitely I go for the second option. Not only for the support for the Malays, but I would love to look at the support for the perception among the general people. Of course, I'm not the large party representing the Malays. They will focus more towards this particular ethnic group. But in general, the transformation that has been shouted has to be delivered or seen to be delivered. This is very crucial, and on behalf of UMNO, I believe that we have seen that. I'll give you examples that the voices of changes not just come from the leadership rank. It is also coming really deep from the grassroots. For example, when I just went back to my Cawangan, my branch, and I decided to offer my service, I was elected as head of the Cawangan immediately. And when I survey around, and I saw that the main reason is because people just want to have a change. People want more options. And when that is why when UMNO party election, when we actually open up the contest and to more delegates, then it shows that the process of transformation is being carried out, and I think this has somehow translated into the form of support.
What do you make of what Dr. Nawaz saying in Putri's perspective?
Okay, I think it's true. We can't be too contented with, the situation now, because on the other side, the pembangkang are actually feeding the youngsters well with infos that might not be true altogether through the social media, you see. And the problem with youngsters nowadays is that they are easily influenced, you see. They without actually even thinking, of whether that thing is true or not. But the moment they see something, they immediately get emotional, and they show hatred and they start condemning what the government is doing and things like that. So we, of course, have to be there to actually, disseminate the right infos and to actually be the point of reference, so that the youngsters know and be more educated when it comes to getting information and accepting it as something that is a fact or a false thing.
Okay. You probably have friends who are also in PKR and PAS, I assume. How did you use that friendship to present your ideas. That UMNO was far better in terms of ideology, in terms of presenting development and presenting service to the people than the other party, especially to the younger people.
Okay, I believe the younger people, they believe in the political of ideologies. They don't really believe on the political of development. But I would like to emphasize on the first point, which is, for instance, my friend who come from opposition parties, they see that the leader is the product of the UMNO, which means me, myself, and the rest of the members is the product of the UMNO. So they see that